Hey City Builders, it's Legio, and we're back with another episode of City Skylines Mahigan, episode 19, the Midtown Road Layout and Metro. So hopefully you guys are doing well. I was pretty excited for this episode, but I'm just going to be upfront and honest. This is going to be a crap recording today. I didn't realize it. Well, let me back up. At about the 3-minute mark, you're going to see what I mean. About a fourth of the screen gets taken off the recording because when I was playing, I stepped away from my computer while I was recording and somehow the settings got messed up. I don't know what happened. I use OBS Streamlabs to record my gameplay, and for some reason it got switched from game capture to display capture, and it completely messed everything up. I was pretty upset. I was heartbroken, devastated, all the in-betweens. But I opted to go ahead and keep the recording and put an episode out because you guys, if you're following my channel, have been very forgiving of all my editing mistakes and snafus. So this isn't going to be a straw that breaks the camel's back. I just hope it doesn't give you a headache. Also, City Skylines player in general, I feel are the most forgiving community on YouTube. You guys are a very supportive community. I love it. From the workshop to the YouTube channels to the Reddit, I love this community. It's a very good community. So I went ahead and posted it because I also really like the layout I did. I think it's the best road layout I've ever done, if I do say so myself. Pat on the back for me. So enough about that. You'll see it here in about 3 minutes, and it's horrific, but it's a workable horrific. I can live with it. I can sleep at night with it because I did the best I could with the editing. Just, be gentle to me in the comments. I'm aware it's bad, so just be forgiving. So that's enough about my lack of skills. Let's actually talk about the episode going forward. So for the road layout of Midtown, we built off the existing road layout for downtown, which again wasn't bad, but we improved upon it. And I follow a basic grid pattern, but we do break it up with some different angles and diagonal streets just to give it some character. And I think it works really well. We use a lot of one-way roads, and later on in the episode we include some bike paths because, bike paths do exist in these areas. I don't go crazy with the bike paths because Chicago and St. Louis are not really bike-friendly cities, and those are the cities I've based this city on. So it is what it is. It's getting better in the areas, but it's not there yet. It's not on, say, level with Portland or Seattle. But I do really like how this road layout turns out. We fix our block sizing. I don't think it's going to look as awkward as, say, the downtown does, where I had to really use procedural objects to fill out the block spaces. So I think it's going to be better going forward. And now you're seeing the poor recording quality. So frustrating. But it is what it is, and we're just going to move on and do better next time. But back to the Midtown episode. The Midtown's also going to have some various sites in it, such as like parks. The Botanical Garden is going to be in the Midtown. We're going to get a cathedral built in it, because what U.S. city is complete without having some religious site like a cathedral in it? And then we're going to have some public areas, and the next episode is going to be one of those public areas. I'm really excited to build it because it's near and dear to my heart. So also in the Midtown, we're going to have some cultural neighborhoods, or as they're more properly called, ethnic enclaves. And that's areas where people of similar ethnicities would all cluster together for various reasons. You know them more commonly as places like Little Italy, Chinatown, a French Quarter, Greek Town. So just to give you an idea of what is going to be in the Midtown, it's going to be these ethnic enclaves. Those enclaves are very, very important, and I would say vital to the growth of American cities. I don't think American cities would be what they are today without them. Like, there's not a doubt in my mind. So, and I think that's what makes a lot of American cities great, are these ethnic enclaves, and there's a lot of history to them. And speaking of history, we're here with today's history lesson, which is going to be on the U.S. immigration of the 19th and 20th century. So buckle up, buckaroos. We're going to get into it real quick. So I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, Legio, what does this history lesson have anything to do with city skylines? I think it has a lot to do with city skylines, because when we build these cities, we try to build them realistically, and at least for American cities, immigration played a vital role in their development. You're talking millions of people coming into a small geographic place that's going to leave a mark, and they have, for sure. So enough of the soapbox talk, let's just get into some of the numbers. It's estimated between 1600 and 1799 there were 1 million European people who migrated to America. But if you fast forward to 1900, America experienced a massive boom in migration. An estimated 8.2 million immigrants came to America in the early 1900s. 1907 alone saw an estimated 1.2 million people coming over. So as you can imagine, that caused significant change in America. 1907 was the largest number of immigrants for the U.S. in history. So fast forward to 1910, it was estimated that 13.5 million immigrants now lived in the U.S. So at 13.5 million, that's a pretty large chunk of their population. It's going to have some influence. The massive stream of immigrants continued into the 1920s with another 4.2 million crossing the oceans. However, in the 1930s and 40s, the number dwindled to just over 1 million in that 20-year period for various reasons we'll talk about later. But then in the 1950s, the numbers exploded once again with 2.4 million, and it just continued to grow from decade to decade. Each decade of immigration reflects what was going on in the world. So in post-Civil War America, which was 1865 to 1900, America was ripe for the Industrial Revolution it was experiencing. It had an advent of machinery, trains, and mass production, which created a lot of employment opportunities for people. And with so many employment opportunities, people from other nations heard about it, and they came to America to cash in, so to speak. Between 1900 and 1910, America was experiencing rapid growth in its industrial sector thanks to steel, railroads, you name it, car manufacturing. There was a lot going on at this time. Between 1910 and the 1920s, America's industrial power only grew thanks to Europe being at war. We were providing a lot of arms for the Allied forces in World War I, so we were building them a lot of stuff. And America was experiencing just an incredible rapid growth in industry all across the country, which led to the 1920s, which is often referred to as the Roaring Twenties. In this age, a lot of people saw the amazing lifestyle Americans were living, and they wanted a piece of it. It was very well known that living in America was good at that point in time. So a lot of people migrated to America to get a piece of the pie, so to speak. This didn't last forever, though, because in 1929, you had the crash of the stock market, which is kind of the signaling for the beginning of the Great Depression, which lasted throughout the 1930s. And this wasn't just in America, this had a worldwide effect. It ground industry to a halt, businesses let go a lot of workers, job loss was just rampant everywhere, and many couldn't afford to take the trip or just didn't have the means to take the trip. And why leave one bad place for another bad place? There were no jobs in America, so many people just didn't bother. Like we said, it was less than 1 million people in this time frame. But then when we get to the 1940s, with the kickoff of World War II and America beginning its recovery from the Great Depression, immigration picked back up, and the world economy picked back up as well, after Europe was devastated from the World War. So immigration in the 1940s, a lot of people fleeing Europe for fear of being killed by Nazis. Let's not beat around the bush. A lot of people left out of fear. A lot of people left because their homes were being destroyed. A lot of people saw the writing on the wall and got out if they could. Not everyone got out, but a lot did, fortunately. So what this inevitably ties into for my purposes is these people had to go somewhere when they came to America. So they would go to cities, and when they came to these cities, they didn't just go anywhere. As we'll talk in the coming episode, racism wasn't just reserved for what is best known for in America, the African American community. A lot of immigrants face racism coming here. The Irish face a lot of racism coming here. So these communities that were coming here, like Italians and some people who were deemed as undesirable, were not given the best housing opportunities. So they have to live somewhere though. So they responded by creating their own cultural identities in these cities, or these ethnic enclaves where the Irish lived here, the Italians lived here, Russians lived here, so on and so forth. Pick your ethnicity. And that's how you would get these ethnic enclaves. And that's vitally important to American history, and I'm sure it's vitally important to other countries, because I'm sure America's not the only one, but it's vitally important to how cities grow, because you will get your little Italys and your Chinatowns. And I know personally, I like to go to these places because they have amazing food and amazing culture. So it's just one amazing aspect of what a city can offer. So that is the history lesson. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a little something out of it. It's a pretty cool topic when you really delve into it. I'm including some of the links from my research down below. I highly encourage you to go use them as references. And a big thank you to Wikipedia. You beautiful, beautiful thing, you. I love Wikipedia. It's where I get my start for most of my research for everything. I'll never quote Wikipedia directly because people can mess with it, but the sources they use on there are legit. So highly encourage you to go to Wikipedia, and I don't get anything from them, but I highly encourage you to leave them a little something. Alright, let's get back to what's going on screen. And once again, I am so very sorry about the poor recording. Definitely not going to win any awards with this video, but you guys have probably seen enough road layouts. You probably know what's going on. You're not stupid. So we'll just live and learn, I guess. So right now, what I am doing though is including some bike paths, because that's something I'm always terrible at including in my cities, is walkability and bikeability for the cities. So I want to make sure I get it in here. It's not perfect, but it is a start for it. And I inevitably want to get this connected up to the Lakeshore District, because I think that'd be a pretty cool walk, starting in the Midtown and wrapping around all the way over to that stadium and everything. So we'll see how it turns out in the next couple episodes. And we also tunnel underneath here, which I thought was a really cool aesthetic. I like that. So while I got you guys here, I did want to let you know that if you enjoyed the soundtrack for Mahigan, I am posting a link in the description below to one of my Google Drives that will have the recording artists and the songs. So if you like it and you couldn't find it, check that link there and go get the music. It's all on YouTube Audio, so you can go download it from there. You can go find the song on the drive, or you could download it from the drive, I believe. I think that's an option. But if you enjoy the music, I wanted to give that to you guys as an option. So hopefully you enjoy it, because I really like the music I use for this. Some really good artists working on there. So now we are working on the Metro line, and there's a lot of cutting here because I struggled with the Metro overhaul mod on this. It didn't really want to cooperate. It likes to glitch a lot, so I don't know if there's a conflict in the mods or it was just the assets, but I was able to keep everything elevated. I really, really like how the lines are turning out. It makes sense. It looks very realistic to me. I'm going to show you better in the live play what it looks like, because I'm over the moon with it. I'm very pleased with it, so hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. But at this point, I'm pretty much just going to let music play us into the live play, because we've only got a few minutes left in the fast play anyways. So hopefully you're enjoying the episode. If you do enjoy the episode, please remember to leave a like and or subscribe. Even though this video was kind of poor quality, I'll just say it. It's not my best work, but then again, my best work's not that great either. I have no idea what I'm doing sometimes with all this stuff, but I do know I'm enjoying it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it too. Before I go, I did want to kind of mention what the Metro is going to do. Completely spaced. Again, I don't script these episodes. I just kind of shoot from the hip. So what the Metro is going to do is, you see I'm putting it between that highway there again. This is going to run across the other side of the river, and you'll have the main line where it'll meet up. So that main line that runs straight through downtown Mahigan is going to connect all these different metro lines, and theoretically you should be able to get on this metro and go where you need to go with only a couple different transitions. So that was my ultimate goal. I wanted all to kind of work off one major line and just kind of spider web from there. I know I've said it in past episodes, but this is where I finally get the effect, where I start to see the fruits of my labor coming together. You just can't see it too well right now because my recording, it broke my heart, guys. It really punched me in the gut when I opened it up and realized the mistake I had made. So, no one to blame but myself. Learn, live, and learn. And if you stuck with me through all this, I, again, really appreciate it. And I'm just going to let the music take this for the next couple minutes. And hopefully I will see you guys in the live play. And we're live. Welcome back, guys. Hopefully the fast play didn't nauseate you too much and you stuck through it. And hopefully it was worth it, because here is our Midtown road layout. And I think it's going to work really, really well. It's pretty basic with the grid, but I think we did add enough angles and sharp turns here and there to make it interesting. And when we start to fill this up, I think it's going to look awesome. So yeah, not too much about the road layout. You guys see a million road layouts. It's pretty simple. Main roads, little roads, and then they're just broken into like different areas. So nothing too crazy. But let's talk about the Metro line, because that's what I'm the most happy with. So our main line right over here, that's kind of where our cutoff from downtown to Midtown is this area right in here. That road right there, that Metro line. We extended that. It's going to cross the river into the probably the second downtown and go all the way out to where we're inevitably going to put an airport. So yeah, Mahigan is going to get an airport. And then it continues up into this area right here so that it can continue out this way. And please ignore the floating trees. I'm having mod conflicts right now. I just got to fix it. I just haven't gotten around to it. But then this line is going to continue out to this way and some possible suburbs. There's also a line that's going to run between this highway over into this area, which I'm thinking is going to be industrial and all that good stuff. We added a stop by our NFL stadium so that, you know, they don't have to drive there. They can just use this line. That's going to be the primary means for them to get to the stadium. So yeah, pretty happy with that line. And then we have some lines running off of that, off this. So think of this as kind of our main line right here. These are all what I call feeder lines. And we have this one right here, which is, you can see right here, this line. This line is going to probably cross over the river at some point, service the community that's going over here. Thinking about putting the university over here in this river bend. I think that'd be pretty cool to have a university right there on the bend of the river. To do that, we're probably going to have to change up this parkway or highway, whatever you want to call this goofy looking intersection. But that'll probably get changed as we go forward. This line, you guys already know, this feeds out to Artus. No need to really show that. Well, yeah, I'll just go ahead and show that. So this line goes out and feeds to Artus. You saw that in another episode. Look up the community metro station. You can see me build that there. We have this line, which is going to feed out to probably a second suburb over here. Not 100% sure how it's going to go just yet, but that's the idea. This line up here, I might change up a little bit, but this line is going to go up and follow this highway at some point and service the community up here. We're going to have another little thing up here. I'm thinking like a theme park maybe can go up there. And then this line from, instead of going to the industrial area, there's going to be another line that runs up here to possibly another suburb. We'll see when we get there, but I really like how the lines are turning out. So those are the metros. That's what I'm most pleased with. I'm so glad I got that figured out. Sorry for the... Give me a second. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. Sorry for the screen jumping. So if you can see it, this is our pedestrian walkway. And this is going to kind of follow the highway for a little ways. And then some... In a future episode, we are going to get it connected back up to this over here. Because the theory is it's going to run basically another, like, I'd say a really weird box. And do a really weird box and somehow connect back up to the Lakeshore District. But yeah, that's in a future episode. That's a little ways away. But overall, I'm really pleased with how this turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Again, I apologize for the terrible recording. Like, I just sat down and recorded 6 hours and didn't even realize the recording was junk. So if you can please forgive me, hopefully it'll be better going forward. But otherwise, yeah, thanks for sticking out the episode. If you guys did like what you see, remember to leave a like and or subscribe, tell your friends, and I'll see you guys next time.